Thanks to its aluminium chassis and chamfered edges, the Ascend G7 looks like a much more expensive smartphone than it really is. Right now you can buy it for less than £200, but we wouldn't be surprised if you can find it even cheaper than that soon. It has a 5.5-inch display and has iPhone-like plastic inserts at the top and bottom on the back. It even comes in Horizon Gold, Moonlight Silver and Space Grey. The bezels around the screen are nice and thin, as is the phone itself at just 7.6mm. It weighs 165 grams, which is heavier than you'd expect, but it gives it a reassuring build quality. The screen is a good quality IPS display, but the resolution of 1280 by 720 is a bit disappointing. Some rivals, notably the Nexus 5 and the OnePlus One, don't cost all that much more, yet have much higher resolution screens. Inside is a quad-core processor, a Snapdragon 410, which isn't amazingly powerful for a mid-range smartphone. The Ascend G7 should support 64-bit Android, should Huawei offer an update from 32-bit KitKat, which the phone arrives with in the box. The bad news is that as it stands, Android doesn't run especially smoothly on the G7. More than once, we saw some interface lag, and it isn't just because of Huawei's Emotion UI launcher. If you don't like the iOS-like home screens that the launcher offers, you can change it for another launcher such as Google Now. Our benchmarks revealed some relatively unimpressive scores, which is no surprise considering the processor. It's also underpowered for gaming. It could only run our easiest game test at 4 frames per second. You get 16 gig of internal storage, of which 11.2 gig is usable, and you're limited to only around 32 gig in the microSD card slot. The good news is that the phone supports 4G. There's also NFC, and you get a built-in FM radio. Battery life is respectable, and although you may end up charging it every night, there should be enough juice to carry on into the second day if you need to. There's also an ultra power saving mode, which gives an extra 24 hours of emergency power even if the battery is down to 10%. And there's more good news if you want a phone with a good camera. At the rear is a 13 megapixel camera that's capable of decent photos in good light. The front facing 5 megapixel camera is good for selfies too. Video isn't amazing, but it's adequate for sharing short clips online. There's no stabilisation of course, but the LED flash is welcome, if only for use as a torch. If you're after a large screen 4G phone and you know you want Android, the Ascend G7 fits the bill. It has a decent screen, the cameras take decent photos and reasonable video too, and build quality is good. The only real problem is a lack of performance. The interface lags a little too much for our liking, and our benchmarks show that the Ascend G7 just isn't that fast. However, it's hard to find a better 4G phablet for less than £200, and we award 4 stars.